Yo, what is up, guys? Joker bringing you another video, this time for Path of Exile 3.27, The Keepers of the Flame. G2G did the live stream for 3.27 a couple of hours ago, and oh boy, is it definitely a league. Like, it is a league of all time. From like an important standpoint, I have like six things, right? Six things that I have in my notepad from the live stream reveal as well as the patch notes. So Keepers of the Flame is an expansion of Breach, right? We saw that coming. It's essentially Breach 2.0, and the mechanic seems to work effectively, like exactly the same way as Breach did, right? So they essentially just reworked Breach a little bit, but for the most part, it works the same. There is a secondary part where you're going to be collecting like a little currency when you clear these breaches, and you can put them in the skillet tree and you can craft items. You can get it to farm currency. You can get it to farm the uniques. And these nodes look relatively stupid. Like when they were hovering them, some of these say things like 5,000% increased chance. So it's giving me a feeling of graveyard, right? Like necropolis crafting. So this may give us some incredibly broken, incredibly strong items this league. But overall, since it's just a Breach rework, I mean, I really liked Breach. So I'm going to take this with a grain of salt and hope that like they didn't change that much, hopefully, about it, right? But overall, underwhelming league mechanic, right? I mean, it's a circle league, which is cool. We like circle leagues, but I don't know. It's just, it didn't live up to the hype, right? Another gimmick is these additional little augments that you can get. And these numbers on these look kind of stupid, but primarily because there seems to be no way of actually scaling these. These are just an additional button to push, is the way that I'm seeing it, right? Like, as you can see, uses level 30 Heart of Flame, and then the item itself modifies it, but like not enough to be like an impactful measure. Um, I mean, overall, once again, kind of underwhelming. I mean, I may be wrong. This may be different. But overall, so far it's been very mid, right? That's when we get to the tree within a tree and what kind of rewards that you can get from this. So they seemed to have given us like the perfect augs and the perfect transmutes, perfect exalts that we got from PoE 2. They call them Foulborn, and they seem to essentially do the same thing, right? This does the same thing as like a perfect regal. Upgrades a magic item to a rare item with a higher level modifiers being more likely. So, I mean, more crafting that gives better tier modifiers is always appreciated, but crafting in PoE, if you know what you're doing, isn't really overcomplicated, especially for early, mid game, and beginning late game items. Like, it only gets complicated when you're moving more towards that hyper end game, min max type crafting. For the most part, the crafting has been very streamlined, right? Very, very easy for you to actually get some decent items. They also went ahead and showed us Foulborn uniques. So I don't know if there is a Foulborn for every unique. That could be kind of crazy if there is for things like Mage Blood, Headhunter, Relicash, right? Things like that, where additional modifiers could be incredibly strong. Or if it is just a small pool of niche uniques, because you see the Felborn Red Dream, and then the Eshes Visage, which makes you kind of feel like, oh, it's only the breach items, but that's not true. They showed us in the press kit a gold rim, right? A Foulborn gold rim, and that's not from breach. So it seems like there's just they also showed us a quill rain, right? Something else that's not from breach. So there is, I guess, a pool of uniques, nowhere in the patch notes or anything, so we have no idea how many of these items there actually are. um there's just like extra beneficial uniques now, which can be super cool or very mediocre depending on what these modifiers look like, right? Like the Foulborn and the Red Dream, where it gives 100% of fire and all res as like as increased max life. People are already putting on Reddit where you can put it next to the Marauder and get like 100% increased max life over there. So around like the Inquisitor, Templar is what the Unascended is called, right? The Templar, the Marauder, that area. Because of all that free res there, you can just get a stupid amount of life. So life stacking Inquisitors might actually be really, really strong depending on how rare this gem is. Up next, we have, oh, it's just showing a couple of pinnacle bosses. There's a couple of new bosses. The incarnations got awakened forms, right? And they added like a couple of bosses for the breach itself. Then we have new skill gems. Overall, I mean, okay. Kinetic Rain seems pretty decent. I'm gonna have to play with it actually in game because the maximum 30 anomalies is fucking with me a little bit. But the way this reads makes me feel like it double hits, where it hits the projectile, where it hits the enemy when the projectile hits the ground, and then it leaves a little explosive, and then the explosive explodes. So in my mind, that's double hitting. If that is double hitting with these numbers, this might have some potential. Uh, I don't know though. I gotta play with it to really test it out. Overall, the new skill and support gems, there wasn't really anything that stood out to me as special or amazing either. Like there's some gimmicky stuff, but there's nothing that I was like, oh my god, this is gonna be broken. Um, Bloodline ascendancies, these are alternate ascendancies essentially, where you have the same pool of ascendancy points, but now you split it between your primary and secondary ascendancies. With all the recent ascendancy reworks, I don't know how many of the ascendancies would rather take these points instead of the regular ascendancies. I can't see it being that high because these seem like be very niche, right? Like the Oshabi one is so far the only one that even seems viable, right? Like the one you get from the Vol guy, Trial Master, and then the guy, I forgot the guy that you kill from Affliction, what's his name? King of the Mist. There we go. uh, these seem kind of useless, right? Because to get this extra ring slot, you have to give up your belt, your flask, or your amulet. I don't see people doing that just for an extra ring, right? Um, so overall, unlit silhouette maybe might be a thing with life stacking. Some chaos based life stacking people a lot smarter than me are going to have to figure out something that goes there. But then, yeah, the rest of these seem incredibly niche. The other seven bosses, I don't know what they are, right? Lycia from what is it called? Forbidden Tomes. What is it called? Sanctum. Sanctum. Um Lycia has a skill tree too, apparently, but I don't know who the other bosses are. I don't think it says it, so we don't get to see those skill trees either. Those are, I'm assuming, maybe Searing Exarch, Eater of Worlds, right? Cirrus, what is that? That's three, and then you have Maven. So Maven, Cirrus, Eater, Exarch, we Cortex, maybe. Um, and then Shaper Elder, right? Those are the seven like pinnacle bosses that we have. So maybe it's something like that. Um, Hopefully their skill trees are actually good. Uber incarnations are the Uber versions of the incarnation bosses. Honestly, the boss fights look like aids. I don't plan on ever doing them, right? It shows some of the uniques, right? The unseen hue and festering resentment. Honestly, the unseen hue does seem interesting to me a little bit because it gives you sap, it gives you attack and cast speed, it gives you res, it gives you LE damage, and increase effect of non-damaging ailments. So like this actually seems pretty decent, at least for early, mid, early, late game, right? So like for a decent chunk, this could be your ring for actually a while. You put on like a taming and then you have this as your other ring, and you use like Ellie head of the spectrum, right? Um, and you get a bunch of benefits. Uh, because yeah, taming, right? Taming damage, Ellie head of the spectrum damage from the alt modifier, plus if you're shock, chilling, and igniting. So asynchronous trade is here. We saw this coming. Yay, we're happy about this. People who have some concerns, I mean, market's gonna market, right? Just be careful listing items on the asynchronous trade, especially if you don't know um what the price is, right? If you're having trouble pricing an item and you throw it in asynchronous trade, someone snipes it from you, that's going to be kind of on you, kind of on GGG, because when you put in an item, right, it locks it for a certain amount of time. um Honestly, just be careful. I mean, sell items through the regular trade as well. This is in addition to, it's not completely replacing it, right? So you can still go ahead and do it with the regular trade site as well. Quality of life features, you can now respec with gold for your Atlas passive tree, and you have a refund all for your passive and Atlas passive tree. And that's pretty much it. Overall, kind of underwhelming. Oh, let's go over the patch notes, right? So, syndicate medallions are now more common. You're now less likely to get high rarity divination cards from Betrayal Gravicius, right? So they killed Grab probably. Syndicate medallions are now more common because they were super expensive, because they were super rare. Spell suppression now prevents 40% of damage instead of 50. So they nerfed spell suppression a little bit. Honestly, it's still incredibly good. You're still going to take it on like 90% of like it doesn't really change much. It's still too good not to really take if you're on the right side of the tree, right? They killed VFOS, a volcanic fissure of snaking. They went ahead and they took away pretty much its snaking aspect. So that was interesting. Pyroclast mines lost their aura that gives you fire damage to hits against enemies near them. And Trickster and Elementalist got nerfs. Trickster got a bunch of nerfs, and Elementalist got Golem buff nerfs. It's now 50% instead of 100%. So I mean, overall, TLDR patch notes is underwhelming. I mean, the league seems like it's going to be a good yeah, like, I mean, it's not, "Oh my god, this is amazing, best league ever," at least before I actually play it, right? Seems like it's a nice, safe circle league, like, am I hyped? Yeah, because it's been a couple months. Am I, like, overhyped? Not really. There's not very much I was found interest in at all. Like the assassin rework is pretty much a wet fart. I was thinking about doing something with like KB and assassin and poison, but I was POBing it a little bit and it doesn't make sense, right? There doesn't really seem to be a good reason to go assassin. Like the best use of assassin right now seems like stealing an ascendancy on a saboteur or a trickster, like taking one of the ascendancies. That seems to be like the only good thing, right? But yeah, that's pretty much it. And relatively short. I guess you can kind of tell that the patch notes didn't have that much, and the real reveal really didn't have that much since this video is only 16 minutes, and normally it would be like 32, and I'd have to figure out a way. But yeah, that's pretty much it. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe to stay up to date with this and future content. I'll be planning a starter. Most likely, I'm probably going to go a Warden Wander instead of Assassin, right? Because we do got a new kinetic wand base that's an attack based wand, and I kind of do want to play an attack based Wander. So we're probably going to do like Ellie kinetic blast, kind of. We'll see how it goes. I mean, I might try poison, might not, just because I might want to play a Sabo and steal one of the assassin nodes for either poison or crit, right? Because you have the helm that you get from Sanctum, the Sandstorm Visage, that is now a modifier on Assassin. So yeah, I may steal that and be like a cock saboteur. But yeah, I'm gonna end the video before it gets too long. Until next time, take care.